Hey, welcome back to another episode, Remarkable Results Radio, the Aftermarket Weekly show, where our goal is to advance the aftermarket and present to you great ideas and insights in every episode. Good to have you here. It's Carm Capriato. Wow. We just came back from Apex, everyone, as a little bit of a side note as we're waiting for people on social media to hang out with us. We had a great time, took away a lot of great episodes. Can't wait to share them with you. Keep an eye on social media for pictures and behind the scenes and some vlog stuff. As you know, we just love going to Apex and all of the events. In fact, we have a couple coming up. At the end of this month, we're going to be at the Transformers Summit in Cancun. And at the end of January, early February, we're going to be at the Institute Summit. The first one with Greg Bunch and his team, and the next one with Cecil and Ken Bullard. And we're excited to be out there in the industry, hanging out with all of our great peoples. Hey, we're coming to you live from the Dorman OE Fix studio. Glad to have you here. We are about ready to have a great little business discussion with Keith Benline. Hey, Keith, how are you, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. How are you guys out there? Hope everyone's
great.
doing great.
A+ Autocare, Poway, California, just northeast of San Diego?
That is correct, yes. And it's technically pronounced Poway.
Poway. What did I say? Poway?
Yeah.
It's Pow, like in Pow, Batman. Pow.
That's right. Yes.
I love that. See, I think one of the first color TV shows I ever saw as a little kid, was Batman. By the way, that's why that Pow sticks in my mind. Oh my. Hey, let's take a picture of Keith's shop that we're going to go out and take a look at. And here it comes. I mean, yeah. Is it up there? There it is. How cool is that? Looks pretty nice. Can't wait to get inside of it and talk a little business with you. But first, thank you so much to our great friends at Dorman.
Dorman Products creates hundreds of new automotive replacement products every month. Part of what makes Dorman so unique is their ideation of new and innovative products. They have dedicated teams all across the U.S., Mexico, and Canada looking for new product ideas. Since every solution starts with a problem, these teams of researchers, field analysts, product specialists, and contributors consistently visit repair shops and make field calls. Now, this is to best understand the problems the industry is facing. In certain cases, Dorman will manufacture aftermarket replacements so you aren't forced to go back to the OE. Other times, experts take it an additional step, further solving what made the original part problematic in the first place. Solving for a problem is what powers the innovation engine at Dorman. Dorman invests in these OE Fix innovations to help you save time, your customer money, and prevent vehicles from coming back to your shop. Want to know more about Dorman? Visit dormanproducts.com/tour.
Hey guys, this coming Friday, we have a very interesting Town Hall Academy. We're paperless and loving it. John Klusterman, Bill Hill, and Aaron Woods are going to come in and tell you how they did it and how much it has helped and changed their business. Hey, let's talk a little business. Keith, you and I did an episode a bunch of years. In fact, I have the date. It was actually 2018. Ooh, right, 2018.
Wow.
Jeremy O'Neill and you.
Yes.
And I want to bring you back 4 years later. I want you to come back. The topic basically was how to build $1 million shop.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you brought in, both Jeremy and you, was great. But I believe I'd love to have you back because of the success that you have going on down there in the San Diego area. So would you promise to come back and let's just do an episode on that? Absolutely,
Carm. Anytime you'd love to have me, I'd love to help out.
Thank you so much, man. Now, look, what's going on at A+ Autocare? Are you on the cutting edge of saying, bring on those EVs? I want them.
We are definitely looking into that, right? So here's what I can tell you. I don't have any official statistics, but if you talk to your customers, at least in San Diego, we have electric cars everywhere. The Teslas are just flooding the streets. Not everyone doesn't want full-on electric cars everywhere in their driveway, but most of my customers, I've listened to them over the past couple of years, and what they say is, I want one electric car, Keith. I want to get one. I want to see what it's about. I want to stop going to gas stations. And this electric car technology is here, and it's coming, and it's going to be coming faster. It's not going to put us out of business overnight, obviously, but it is going to start changing uh, our customer database. So in other words, we have a customer now that has 2 cars in the driveway. We work on both of them. Once one of those cars becomes an electric car, that's one less car that we're going to see. And if each family keeps doing that, and I'm seeing that slowly happen as electric car pricing is coming down, more affordable, more manufacturers are going to get into the game now and making these things. I just see a slowing down of car counts into our business because of that. And so all the more reason at this time we need to be aggressively marketing our business, right? It's not panic. It's not, oh, I got to get out of the business. It's you got to look forward and think, where's this going to be in 5 years? Where's it going to be in 10 years? And how can you set your business up in order to be successful?
I find that fascinating for you to say that we are going to have, no doubt, that car is not going to come in as often if it becomes an EV. But I've seen some and been to some classes that said, we may not have as much work on those vehicles, but we're going to have work. So, for example, say you had 10,000 cars in your database, you may need 20 in order to earn a good living because of the EVs. You may see them once every couple of years, but there's tires, there's chassis work, there
Yes.
is going to be air conditioning work,
Yes.
and no doubt, I see us having to change our business model, and it kind of reminds me of the Euro guys and ADAS specialty and Euro
Mhm.
specialty. I see EV. I actually see Tesla shops going on in the aftermarket everywhere.
Well, I hope so. We'll see, what happens. And I agree with your comments. Yes, there's still going to be work to be done on electric cars. It's just not the consistency that you see with an internal combustion engine motor, right? No oil changes, no spark plugs, no timing belts. The brakes last 100,000 miles on those with the electric motor helping out with the braking. No fuel pumps. All that basic stuff that people have come in for is gone.
Yeah.
Spark plugs. So what we're going to see when electric cars come in is probably bigger repairs, I think, and like you said, suspension, tires, probably, every car manufacturer has statistical problems, right? So battery failures, electric motor failures, and what the cost of those are going to be, and are people going to want to fix their electric cars at that point? Those are all questions I don't necessarily have the answer to at this point. But the industry is changing, and if everyone's going to buy an electric, most of my customers are going to buy at least one electric car. When is that going to happen? The next year, 2 years, 5 years? It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. I find it fascinating at Apex. I asked a lot of questions of people. Will hydrogen really have its place someday? That would continue to keep the ICE, engine afloat.
Hmm.
And then some people even said to me, well, Carm, you probably don't know this. Maybe some people in the industry do, but they're working on synthetic fuels that wouldn't have the kind of emissions so that we could have a zero carbon footprint. And I think before we go all EV, I think there may be some options on the horizon because of the 200, I think 80 million, is it possible, vehicles that are on the road today, and a very, very small percentage of them are EV. Hey,
Hmm.
you and I were chatting, and I love this. You said to me, the internet is educating your customer faster than you can imagine.
That's
And
right.
I think that is such a powerful, powerful statement. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. I mean, it's true. You can't go on the internet, I don't think, any day without some automotive repair article somewhere popping up in your face about, does your mechanic do this? Does your car do this? What should you pay for something like this? That stuff, it's out there everywhere. And you, as a shop owner, I've learned, okay, rather than try to fight this internet and all these articles, I need to find a way to use it and bring it onto my team and understand that what these customers are going through. Now, I'm not referring to much to longtime customers that they know and they trust you, and they know if they read an article that you're still the right kind of person. I'm talking about a good percentage of your customers that are new customers, maybe only been to you a couple of times, and they're reading these articles on the internet. And especially if, gosh, if there's one other thing I can tell you, Carm, is to be a successful shop owner, sometimes you got to take yourself completely out of the automotive repair business and think like a customer. If you are a normal person, you go to work, your car had a problem on the way to work, right? It made a noise, it sputtered, it did something. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to talk to all your fellow employees like, hey, my car did this. Anybody know anything? You know, they're going to start spouting ideas of what they think it could be. You're going to go on the internet and search, okay, my car has this problem, and you're going to get information. And then people are going to say, I've got a mechanic, I've got a mechanic. And you're going to go online, you're going to search Google reviews for all this. That whole process goes on before they ever call you or digitally email you or respond to you, hey, can I get my car in there, right? So what you say next, if you go against everything they just read on the internet, if you go against everything their friends just told them, that is a very hard re-education of a customer. And you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. There's going to be a lot of hesitancy on the customer's part. So the more that you can understand what's out there on the internet, what the internet is trying to do with people with education, some of it's good, some of it's not so good. They're just trying to sell advertising. You can understand the power of it, right? And so I guess as a shop owner, I said, I'm not going to fight that anymore. I'm not going to put my head in the sand. I'm going to realize what's going on. And I'm going to make the process from that point when they've got issues with their car to coming into my shop, it's going to seamlessly flow right with all the stuff they've heard on the internet, all the stuff they've heard with their friend, right? There's going to be transparency in pricing. Their friends may have told them they need a fuel pump. We don't know, but they've probably looked up the price already and what a fuel pump's going to be, and that's what they want to ask me. Well, I don't want to answer that. They've already got all the information. They can get it right on my website if they want
Okay, you got me hook, line, and sinker, baby. I'm with you, but I need to know how. So I pick up the phone and I call you and says, hey, listen, I got this noise in the front left, and every time I do this happens. Would you then say to me, what have you done? Have you done any research, Carm, on this? Talk to, phoned a friend, went on to Google. Would you ask me that so that you have an idea of where my mindset is?
No, I would not ask you that.
You would not ask me that.
No.
So then you would start asking me questions. What's it sound like? When you start asking me like a doctor would,
Yes.
What are the symptoms? What's going on? Right.
You're getting close. Yes.
And you're confident that whatever I discovered on the internet, whatever these crazy ideas that are floating in my mind as to what's wrong with my car, you're going to gain the confidence from me that you know.
Absolutely. So if I start asking you, all right, tell me about this problem. When did you start noticing it? When are you hearing it? And asking you all those questions. My job is to listen at that point. After I ask you those questions, this is where I'm going to find out what you've researched without asking you, because you're probably going to tell me. Most customers will if you ask enough questions. Yeah, I think it might be a wheel bearing, Keith. I was just reading something on the internet about that.
You're going to ask the open-ended questions, and they're going to be able to come and tell you, hey, I've done the research. And yeah, I think you're right, Keith. That's kind of what I've found out by asking friends. And then I remember doing an episode a while back, and the conclusion of all this information was to the customer, hey, in the future, just let me be your Google. Or are we just so fixated on, on spending 8 hours a day on our phones to find our own answers? I mean, do we doctor like that? I think we do.
Well, we do. And I will tell you this, and I can't take credit for this. I learned this from Bob Cooper in his seminars. And he said, people will trust someone in a non-vulnerable environment more than they will you, because when you have their car, they know that you're making money off of them, right? So if you bump into, let's say, a plumber in line at the grocery store, but you don't need a plumber, you're going to ask that guy questions and you're going to trust him more than probably the plumber that comes to your house, because the plumber that comes to your house is going to charge you money to do it. And it doesn't make sense so much because you don't know anything about that guy standing in the line with a plumbing shirt on. He could be a crook for all you know, right? But it's a non-vulnerable environment. The internet is not. It's a non-vulnerable environment. The internet doesn't have their car. The internet isn't charging them money to fix their car. It's a non-threatening, non-vulnerable environment, and people just gravitate to trusting that more than if there's a financial exchange between the two of you.
I think it's a brilliant summary. Put the person, if I'm calling you, Keith, say just auto repair near me, Poway, California, you come up, I pick up the phone, I'm in a non-threatening position because you don't have my car.
Correct.
And that service advisor, if they know that, then they have the ability to earn trust and transparency
Yes.
because of that.
Yes.
It's a brilliant, brilliant concept on how we can take what we're feeding ourselves with on the internet, on our research, on Mother Google, and turn it into a positive. There's only one way we're really going to find out if all of these things that we believe it is and that you've done your research is bring it in. We'll come up with the solution for you.
Yes, absolutely. It's powerful stuff. And I've even told customers how sometimes they know their car better than I do because they drive it every day. They know every little noise, every nook,
Yeah.
cranny that car does. And I've had customers tell me stuff that they found on YouTube that I couldn't find anywhere in any information sources. And we apply it and it fixed their car. And I'm like, look at that, right? So the internet is, I mean, it's there. And yeah, there's a lot of not good stuff. There's good stuff out there too. So I kind of let the customers know. I laugh with them. I go, sometimes there's just so much stuff out there and you find something, right? And I've told customers, if they're like, well, do you think I could fix it on my own, Keith? If it's something small, and I go, well, you know what, go on YouTube. I'm sure someone knows how to reset that light that you're dealing with on that particular car that's changed 10 times over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'll encourage them to go, you know what, that's a good idea, Keith. I'll Google it. So, I use the internet as an additional tool. And now the customer feels like I helped him. Hey, Keith didn't just try to bring me in and try to sell me a bunch. He just said, like, it's probably something simple. See if you can find it on Google and fix it. And then, that's marketing and relationship building is what I call that.
I love it. I was so confident you were going to bring us a gem or two, Keith, on this episode, and you did. There's no doubt. This is there's so much to take away from this, and so I really, really appreciate this. Hey, this week some new listens that before we get into your tour, I want to tell our listeners about a few new listens that we have. Let me just find. Oh, here it is. Bill Nalu, the benefits of purchasing EVs for tenured technicians. Bill is going to buy 2 of those over the next 6 months. And when they're paid off, he's going to give them to his tenured technicians. Matt Fonzo did a great episode on time technician pay plans from Hunt Demarest. And one thing we implement immediately if we still had our shop from the marketing podcast with Kim and Brian Walker. Lots of good stuff that we produce for our industry to advance the aftermarket each and every week. Let's take a tour out at A+ Autocare in Poway, California with Keith Benline. Let's take a look at this as you narrate. My first time seeing this too, Keith. Can't wait.
Yes. Well, I can't take credit for this. So I don't own the building. My friend Andy Chandler, that owned this business before me, he took this over. If it looks like a fitness center racquetball court, that's because it was. So
Okay.
him and his dad had a very small shop in the middle of Poway. It was a converted garage, gas station into a garage. And it was called Quick Lube Inc. Well, A+ Autocare, he changed the name to it. And the city of Poway came to them because they wanted to do the city center there in Poway, and they wanted to kick him and his dad out in eminent domain, in which they did. And of course, they fought the city and said, well, we were planning on being here a long time. So they settled. And then Andy found this facility. It was a condemned old racquetball and fitness center, and he converted it into the auto repair shop that you see today. And that's why it's as big as it looks. And you'll see inside, where the racquetball courts probably were. There's still a functioning shower in there, as a matter of fact.
So A+ was the name when Andy had it, right?
Yes, it was.
And you just logo and everything. You just bought the business and bam, and just took over. And of course, you're growing it. What's the Elvis there for? Can you explain the Elvis?
So so when we were redoing the customer area, right? So see, I wanted that welcome to A+ Autocare, 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. In the white, it says family owned and operated. Well, we were changing it, and so that was just bare for a while, that cabinet there.
Yeah.
And so customers were coming in because Andy had all these rims and stuff, and I said, well, why are we having all these rims on display? We don't really sell those. And so we took them out, and as we were changing, customers were saying, well, it looks like you guys are you're going out of business, and the place looks empty in here. So we said, we got to do something. So we stuck Elvis in there because Poway is it's known as the country bumpkin city of San Diego. So the people that come in Poway are a little older, they country, Elvis, a lot of them relate to it. So we stuck Elvis there. Then we finally got the Welcome to A Plus Autocare painted. And we've just left Elvis there because it's just a good talking point. People, they
It
see
is.
him.
You got me talking about it. Great. Nice looking lobby area,
Yep.
service advisor area.
That's our customer reception area. It's that's the old gas station right there. That was
Got
the
it.
old place that the city came in and said, okay, we want this for our city center. We need to get you guys out of here. And then the pictures next to them are my two managers that are still there today. That's Alan. He's been there 20 years. And that's Dave. He's been there 25 years. And
Nice.
customers just absolutely love
Nice.
them.
And so I love these caricatures. What a great
Again,
idea.
I wish I could take credit for that, but that was Andy that did that, and the customers absolutely love those. I got to still get mine done now. It's been a couple of years, and I'm putting it off, but I just need to make it happen and get it up on the wall there. But yeah, the customers they absolutely love that.
And by the way, let me ask a question. Above their caricature, was it a little biography on them?
It is. Yep.
Wonderful.
And yes, picture of them, little biography, and who they are, and absolutely. We call this the war room.
Yeah.
So this is right behind the customer. There's Al and there's Dave and that Steve, my office manager. So this is where we do all the service writing and advising. And so we're not in the main reception area when we're doing it. And of course, a waiting room. We took some of the chairs out with COVID. We haven't put a lot back in, but you have enough in there for now to.
So there's a separate room altogether that they walk to for this. Any waiters? Probably not.
Oh no, yeah, we have waiters. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
waiters is just it's a necessary evil. No one likes it, but we make it work and make it as comfortable as we can for people. Separate restrooms, of course, for the ladies and for the men. So it's nice. The technicians have their own bathroom, and the customers have their own bathroom. And there's the shower for the
Nice. Do the guys use the shower at all?
I do. I have one of my technicians, Chewy. He
Yeah.
goes to training, and he lives down south by the border. And he says, "I'd rather just crash at the shop for the night." And he showers and crashes at the shop when he goes to training. And
Wow.
there, next morning ready to go.
The numbers.
The numbers. Yep, absolutely. So car counts, our sales, and it's looking for trends. And
thank you for sharing that. Looks like it's a pretty strong set of numbers there. Now, are you the individual that goes down with the numbers each and every day, or does your manager?
So believe it or not, the guy that started doing that was one of my technicians, because when I had my other shop and we were competing with the two shops, he wanted to see how the two shops would compare. So he started the whole process, and I thought, I like that idea. So recently I've been updating it because since the other shop is sold. So I update those numbers myself.
There's an oldie.
There's an oldie. Yep. We still keep some of the old books because every once in a while you need to grab one. But for the most part, we try not to work on anything.
Hey, let's stop the video right now. Let me ask you a question on that. A friend of mine and a lot of other shop owners, they have a higher labor rate for older cars because they know they're going to have more time finding parts. And maybe not in your particular area, but say a northern car comes down and they want to get it, a classic car, if you will. Do you have a different labor rate?
I do not have a different labor rate for that, Carm. We try to avoid working on cars older than 2000. We won't work on a classic car just because of those issues. But if we do get a car that comes in that is older and looks beat, we may charge more labor time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One way or the other. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. On with the video.
All right, has just a general storage area with boxes. And for the first time in 20 years, I have my own office, baby.
Stop it.
The other shop was such a small shop because of where it was in San Diego and how busy it was. There was just no space. And that's Eric Weddle's house up there on the hill, the Charger NFL player that comes to the shop. You can't see it, but I stare at it all the time. So it's nice.
So you were telling me offline that a lot of the Chargers live in this community.
They did. The Chargers, a lot of the Padres players. Now the Chargers have moved out. It's not as much, but back in the day, LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, they all lived out there.
They all lived out there.
Tony Gwynn. Yep.
Oh, very nicely defined. Are you a ducks in order kind of guy?
Andy was more ducks in order than I am, but I've kept it because my other shop I let get a little too unorganized with stuff, and the guys down below are very ducks in a line. So The team works together very well. Mostly that stuff is when you would inventory parts, but these days with getting parts as fast as, really the inventory is not as necessary up there and stuff. So probably that stuff, more of it's older. It's nice to have it if we need it.
How many bays?
So we have 10 lifts, and the bays are the whole thing is open. So this is a wash bay in the back. So we wash and detail cars. There's a sump there, and this is the main entrance to the shop. So when you come in, you can kind of see like to the left there where the alignment is, not here. That's the part shelf with the technicians' names and numbers. So when the parts come in, the people know exactly where to put the part. So the technicians will look for it. So you put the work order number, let's say 180181-2.
And that's the technician's number.
Yes. And so they know to put the part there. So now this is the back side of the shop. So you see that's Dan's area there. He's got 2 lifts. This is Chewy's in the middle. He's got 2 lifts. We recently added that 12,000 pound lift there because we do about 15% fleet business. And you can see the weight of that truck. And, technicians, I'll tell you, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it, boss. But you never want a safety issue. So we put that lift in there. And that's my 4th tech, Mike, right there. He's also my shop foreman. So those are 8 lifts, and then we have the alignment rack here with the newest John B machine, which the guys just love. The scanners go up and down automatically and find the car. And so the guys, they really like that. Of course, our tire equipment is there. But you can see those were the old racquetball courts.
I got it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. What percentage of business is tires?
Not much, man. It's more of a as needed basis. So 5%.
Okay.
I would say at the most, right? We don't advertise tires so much. Just if cars in there and need it, we'll put tires on. That shop press, Mike asked me to get that. That's been a really nice piece of equipment for pressing bearings in and out. And those
let's hold a video for a moment. While at Apex, Delphi was promoting a work truck. The forgotten work truck, and how many of these F-250s or the 3500 Power Wagon Dodges are out there still working their butt off, very expensive to buy a new one, small fleets having these vehicles, and they're required in order for them to do their work. And the whole concept from Delphi, you'll hear in an interview that I did with Malcolm Sismore, is it's like it's such a revenue opportunity to work on the work trucks that are out there, and it's like it kind of hit me heavy over the head. And when in the fleet work that you do, is it small fleet or is it these maybe bigger work trucks?
It's a combination, right? So a lot of them are the other bigger work trucks because we have Plumbing Plus with their big plumbing vans. We have Remodel Works. They have vans and they have trucks. Eichler Electric is the one that you just saw right there. There does seem to be a trend of some of these companies. I would say they're small to medium-sized fleets, depending on the company, maybe 20, 30 trucks. I do see a trend towards like the Sprinter vans, the smaller type stuff working out there. But like you said, it's expensive to buy new vehicles. And so unless there's something majorly wrong with that F-250 or F-350, they want to fix it. And there's money there. Yes, absolutely.
I think it's a huge opportunity. I think they may be onto something there.
Yeah. No,
really beautiful tour, nice shop. And you went from owning 2 to back to 1.
Yes.
Good move for you?
I think it was an excellent move for me. The shops weren't close together. And they were both doing, 220,000 a month. And it just got a lot for me. And the other shop is in an area that got changed by the city of San Diego. They put a new trolley in. Parking was at a very minimum. And there was a bank next door to me that had been there for years, almost like a historical building. And they had sold the bank and the parking was going to go away. And we used that parking. So of course, I disclosed that when I sold the business and stuff that, you can still find parking, but trying to find parking in the streets and stuff, it's going to take a lot more effort, a lot more like, okay, this car's over here, this one's over here. Because the size of that 9,000 square foot lot in San Diego and the numbers that we were doing there was just, at its limit. And there was going to be a plan you have to put together. And I'm like, okay, I've been running this thing for 19 years. Do I still want to do it? Or is it time to maybe just be done with one and just have one shop again. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's nice to tell people I was a, double shop owner. But you get double everything, Carm. I mean, yes, you get double sales, you get double the problems. And when things were going good at both shops, hey, it's great. But when you
Yeah.
have problems at both shops, oh my gosh, if you're dealing with a customer at both shops, an employee issue, it can.
Yeah.
And
I hear you. I hear your hesitation in your voice. It's like I took some air out of the balloon, but the balloon is still solid.
yeah, but the main reason I did it is I'm looking 5, 10 years in the future. I'm 57 years old. So how much
Uh,
longer do I want to do this?
yeah.
Do I want to be at the end of 10 years and have two shops and trying to retire with that? And I thought, you know what? I've got a couple great years at the other shop. I think the time is right to sell that one, maximize the profits from the sale, and invest and build a nice retirement plan. And then I'll ride Poway out and see how long this goes with electric cars. I've got a great lease with a good friend, Andy, out there, and we'll see how it ends up out there, right, with electric cars and stuff.
Well, a great story. I wish you all kinds of success. Love to have you back on the show to do this whole steps to $1 million shop, which obviously you are more than at.
Yes.
And congrats to all of that. One final question for you.
Sure.
When you did you bring some of the people from the original shop over to Poway?
No, and when you sell a business, they usually make you sign a non-compete with both customer
Okay, so
and
it
employees.
stayed a shop. I
Yes.
see. I see.
Yeah.
I thought you sold the property. Okay.
No, I sold
So
the property and the shop. Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah.
got it.
No, I
Cool.
mean the crew at Poway is an incredible crew. I mean, just as good, if not better, than the at the other shop. So,
Mhm.
no, there was really no need to really bring anybody, over, or nor could I really legally.
Well, good for you. Hey, this was great. Thank you all so much. This will become a listening audio this coming Saturday on your favorite podcast listening app. You can watch us anytime, all the After Market Weekly shows on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Love to have you as one of our followers. It's been great. Thank you all so much to Keith Benline from A Plus Autocare in Poway,
Poway.
California. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Carm.